Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Before I start my presentation, I would like to thank to the committee who has given me opportunity to present my research-based paper under the title An Autobiographical Narrative Inquiry, Teacher Identity Construction During the Learning of English. My name is Weny Fitriana and I come from Universitas Pendidikan Indonesia. The study is conducted due to the importance of researching teacher identity that has recently become an analytical lens for studying teacher professional development and the process of learning to become a teacher. Besides, the study reflects on some of the previous research that learning to become a teacher is not merely a matter of acquiring knowledge, attitudes, and skill, rather it is developing teacher identity. However, most of the research in this area focuses only on the teacher education program as shown in the previous research, so that the study intends to fill the gap that research teacher identity construction during the learning of English. It means from their first exposure to English until present. Culturman's 93 states that teacher development can only be understood properly if it is conceived of as a lifelong learning process of learning and development. So the research questions are: how is the student-teacher identity constructed during the learning of English, and what aspects do influence the teacher identity construction during the learning of English? The theoretical framework used in this research is Teacher's Personal Interpretative Framework by Culturmans in 1993. The framework conceptualizes identity as autobiographical stories that individuals narrate in a social context, and it states that developing a teacher identity is ultimately a learning process in which teachers accumulate professional experience through the constant identifications of the professional self and the subjective educational theory. The professional self or self-concept consists of self-image, self-esteem, job motivations, task perception, and future perspective. Self-concept itself is a personal story narrated in a social context. The narratives are ongoing and shifting as one grows, one revised changes, adds or deletes one's narrative. Culturman's 93 explained that the self-concept of teacher can be explored from five main dimensions that I stated before. The subjective educational theory is a personal interpretative system of knowledge and beliefs about education and teachings. Taken together, the subjective educational theory and professional self are interwoven in a teacher's personal interpretative framework to understand the teaching profession. We'll study adopting a qualitative approach and drew on a series of autobiographical narratives, and the framework addressed questions focused on reasons for entering teacher education, attitudes toward the teaching profession, self-concept, and activities participated throughout the exposure to English. The stage in analyzing the data: the first is coding, the second is categorizing into fields, the third is identify the changes in teacher identity development, and the film were consulted with the theory of teachers' personal interpretative framework by Culturman. The next finding is self-image, which developed from not fully teacher to more competent teacher. In this study, both participants see themselves as teachers. They mentioned that they had absorbed the personality of the teacher in the teacher education, and because of teaching experiences they have until present, as shown in the following narratives. In conclusion, there were stages of self-image development in student teachers. Their self-image changes from student to student teachers and to teachers. The findings suggest that the teaching experience is an important aspect in shaping teacher identity, one of which is through an internship program. Teaching experience provides space for the students to transfer theory into practice and to exercise their teacher identity, as stated by Trent 2013. The next finding is self-esteem, which changes from not confident to more confident, shown in the following narrative. And in trying to understand the drift of self-esteem, I found that the English major of the undergraduate and postgraduate program, besides the tutoring program that helps the participants become more confident, it was stated that the learning of English in the graduate program will change their confidence in building knowledge. In contrast, the postgraduate program enhances reflective teaching through research to increase the students' teacher self-esteem. The finding confirmed the study conducted by Multazabida and Kazami in 2018 that self-esteem and teacher identity can be shaped through five aspects, and in this sense, it is shaped through the teacher education. The next finding is job motivation from reluctant to definitely to choose teaching. Regardless of having a strong passion or not a strong passion for becoming an English teacher in the initial year of choosing English education, the students state and express the desire to definitely choose the teaching profession, and the narratives are associated with the cultural and psychological reason. It indicates that teaching is not merely about getting a high salary and transmitting knowledge, and the result of this study confirms the study conducted by Triati and Bank 2016 that cultural and psychological satisfactions are some of the reasons why many teachers persist and remain happy through Indonesia teaching process, even the reward is assumed beforehand. The next finding is the task perception from simplistic to understanding the teaching professions. The narrative shows how the task perception is defined differently during the time of entering an English education major. The narrative shows how the view of task perception is changing during the learning of English, and the changing view is associated with their subject matter, particularly in their bachelor and postgraduate program. This is because they already have had a profession as an English teacher. They begin to understand the complexities of the teaching professions. This study supports the finding by Ticknor, who claims that the complexities of teaching profession will remain cloudy until one becomes teacher. The next changes is subjective educational theory from simplistic to real. The data revealed that the students reported having a simplistic view of teaching profession when they were in the initial year of enrolling in English education program, and shifted to highly valuing the teaching profession when they were in the middle of their undergraduate study. This research confirmed Propaganda's 2020 study, which states that the real view of the teaching profession appears in the 5 years of pre-service teachers in their teacher education program. This study, because it is conducted on postgraduate students, and they have already taught in real life, which has become a part of their profession, so their view of the teaching profession is already real. The next finding is the aspect that influenced the teacher identity construction during the learning of English. So the similarity of both participants lies on the theme the love of English. The differences lies on the reasons of dual benefits of taking English major and strong passion for teaching. In this study, I used the term significant others to refer to certain individuals who directly or indirectly influence a person to develop into a certain person in making important decisions. So in this study, Ilma's meeting with the foreigners when the influence of the Western culture and her English teacher, even though brief, might be categorized indirectly as a significant variable in the course of our story in becoming an English teacher. The findings revealed that the student-teacher identity constructed through multiple dimensions will change at different points of time. The development of teacher identity is affected by the significant others such as from the teacher educators and teacher education program. Besides, the cultural and psychological aspects were also associated. That's all from me. Thank you for the nice attention. For the comments, suggestions, or recommendations are welcome.